The following is a mechanically reproduced announcement, previously recorded from a live scheduled program on 24.7 The Stream. This is not a live broadcast. All guests, callers, and hosts granted 24.7 The Stream permission to be recorded. This program may contain strong language or topics not suited for younger listeners. Parental discretion is advised. Thank you for listening to 24.7 The Stream.
Happy Monday, everybody. This is Alex with InformNation.
And this is David with InformNation.
Here we are today on a wonderful Monday we're having here in Chicagoland. It is nice and sunny outside, and I'm feeling good today.
I'm feeling great. That sun is bringing energy back to me.
There we go. Actually, I was thinking about it. I'm like, summer's right around the corner. I'm like, we got to start doing some, thinking about what we're going to do for the summer over here.
And some outside activities.
Maybe outside activities, a little InformNation hitting the streets finally,
Some man on the street going.
There we go. It's going to be nice weather out. But what we wanted to talk about today is waking up and taking a leap of faith. What is that all about, taking a leap of faith? David, have you ever took a leap of faith?
I think everybody's taken a leap of faith, sometime throughout their life, whether it be a small little leap of faith, or a big one, or anything. I think we've all taken one. Have you?
I think doing the show is whole taking a leap of faith.
Every Monday's a leap of faith.
Every Monday is a leap of faith. And what we do is every Monday comes around, we got to come up with some content in here. This week we're talking about taking the leap of faith. It has somewhat to do with where we are today doing the InformNation radio, and that's kind of my and David's leap of faith. And actually today, a little bit later in the show, we're going to be having a special guest today, pro wrestler Matt, the world exclusive Vine.
Whoa!
Uh-oh. I heard he took a leap of faith, and I think we'll get a little bit of a more story from him when the time comes.
His leap of faith is pretty inspiring. That really, hearing that, really made me think about myself and taking leaps of faith in my life.
It's all about who you are, what you want to do, and kind of some of the previous shows we talked about with actually leading up to almost taking that leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes the self-reflection, what we talked about in the first episode, which we talked about who you are, what you're doing, what your passion is, kind of waking up to the world around you. Then we had last show. I don't know, if anyone wants to comment on last show, tell us how the show was. We kind of went off on a couple different rants and raves about a couple different things. But I think the show pretty much went overall kind of saying what's kind of holding you back from actually turning into your true self.
Yeah.
And then now, after you know yourself, actually know some of the things that are holding you back that you can do to change.
Now you can take that leap of faith and believe in yourself and take that next step and take the initiative and become the best version of yourself.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's all about, right? The whole thing is, going with your gut instinct and jumping out there and, looking over the cliff. You're coming up to this cliff, you're like, oh, do I jump or do I not jump? Is my parachute going to open? Is the bungee jump going to grab me?
I like that analogy.
And that's what it's like. And, I think we all go through that anxiety of actually taking the jump. Either it's, quitting our job, if it's asking a certain special someone out. It could be anything, taking a leap of faith. I wrote down a couple of things here, which kind of people take leaps of faith from trying out for a team, saying something you've always wanted to say. You could go bungee jumping or skydiving, which talking about what we have to do this summer.
Yes.
That's how I brought this up, is we got to go skydiving.
We've been talking about that forever.
I think we've been talking about it for 2 years now.
I know.
I don't know if we've grow the cojones yet to actually go out there.
Me and you, I can see we're down for it. We're ready to go, but it's just, when you get that group of people, it's when it comes down to that wire, those people fall off that are too scared, but they need to take that leap of faith.
I think the whole either bungee jumping or skydiving, I think that's going to be a huge life changer for a lot of people, because it is like taking a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's like jumping out of an airplane being like, the only thing that's going to save me is this little parachute bundled up in this backpack. It's got to open right, and it's got to open at the right time, and hopefully I don't hit the ground at vertical velocity speed limits. But that's a huge taking a leap of faith, and I think that's something that We might have to get on video camera or something and post on InformNation when we
Yeah,
go.
I want to do that.
We got to go this summer. We got to
Get
do
a GoPro.
We got to do the skydiving.
I have to.
I mean, I've done.
It's on the bucket list.
I've done bungee jumping myself. Never like off a bridge or anything, but I went to a place in Florida where they had like the world's tallest. You know, like they have at Six Flags, those big bungee jumping cranes.
Yeah,
and they
lift
pull you up there, and then it drops you. Well, they had like a 300 or 350 foot one down in Orlando, or next to Orlando in Kissimmee. I forget what the town was, but I went there when I was 12 years old with my uncle. Uncle signed away my name and everything. Got pulled up there, and I'm like sitting there thinking as I'm going, I'm like, wow, this just gets higher and higher and higher. And what ended up happening was my uncle's like, okay, are you ready? He's like, 1, 2, and he pulled it on 2. He pulled it on 2. And that was it. And everyone was like, don't close your eyes. You could puke on the way down if you close your eyes.
Like, what?
And so, like, I was, like, almost forced to, like, keep my eyes open going down. But that was probably one of the most exhilarating experiences ever. And actually, I've done a couple bungee jumps like that ever since. Over at Six Flags, I did one. And the first time I ever had to pull the cord myself. And that's interesting. Pulling the cord yourself is definitely... I don't know. It's kind of it's a little bit different of an experience because you're the one that's got to pull it.
I feel like almost I kind of would want to pull the cord myself because at least I can trust myself,
Yeah.
It's like it's my time to go. I want to do it instead of just leaving it up to someone else who you don't know when they're gonna pull. They're gonna pull the cord on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, pulling the cord, man, that's interesting because it's almost like, oh, am I gonna plummet to my death right now? But you just got to, keep the faith that the cord's going to hold.
You got to have a lion heart. You got to stare death right in the face and tell it that you're going to win.
Kind of coming down right there on the pavement, and then, you swing out all the way at the end. It's like, okay, that was scary.
I've always wanted to do those. That sounds fun.
You ever done one at Six Flags before?
No.
Dude, it's interesting.
I've seen the videos on Facebook of people, like, they pass out or do something crazy and, like, the fly down there.
Oh, yeah. Those, the slingshot one.
Yeah.
Passing out. Yeah, I think it's from all the gravity or something, like, on your brain, like, those guys that go into astronauts. The astronaut G-force, they start passing out. But it's interesting. And, I mean, we really want to focus on what it takes to take the leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is it that you have to do? What is it you have to prepare for? What kind of mindset do you have to do to go into taking a leap of faith? And kind of what are you going to expect? I mean, I think it all derives within going with your gut feeling. And you should listen to your gut. And I think from last episode, we were talking about some of the things that are holding you back. And I think one of the things that holds us back from actually hearing our gut loud and clearly is some of the foods we're eating and everything, because if our digestive system's all right, our mind's all right, we'll be able to kind of tune into our intuition.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're in a fog.
Yeah, you don't feel in a fog, and your mind and your body speaking clearly to you, and you could actually go with your gut feeling and actually kind of be like, you know what, this is right. I feel it.
Yeah.
Instead of being all fogged up all the time, eating crappy food, watching crappy TV, and just sitting there and being like, not in tune with your gut feeling.
Kind of feel off.
Yeah. And, I don't know if I brought this up in a previous show, but gut actually derives from the word gut, which I believe is like an old Latin word or something. Someone could correct me on the chat, but it actually means God, and it's the spirit kind of flowing through you. That gut instinct is almost God talking to you. So it's almost something that you have to do. It's like your calling. It's going out there, looking, danger in the eyes, or looking fate in the eyes and saying, I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm going to conquer you. And you can't look back.
No.
That's the one thing about taking the leap of faith. Don't look back, because guess what? If you look back, you're going to start stumbling. It's almost like riding a bike, right?
Yeah, I was going to bring this analogy up. I thought about it was perfect for taking a leap of faith. We've all had that first time where we had to ride a bike for the first time. And either it was your mom or your dad or somebody else that got you on that bike at a young age, even though you had training wheels on. You were scared. You've never ridden a bike before. But what did they tell you to do? Just keep looking forward and keep pedaling. Because if when you ride a bike, as long as you keep pedaling, you'll stay up.
And that goes true for life too, as well.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, definitely. When you take that leap of faith, when you get on that bike and you keep pedaling and you have that passion in your heart, that drive, that desire that pushes you forward, is making you keep pedaling. It's that inner, it's that gut feeling.
It's like you can't stop pedaling or you're gonna fall. And just like when you do take the leap of faith, if you stop, I don't know, if you try to stand there and stand still for a second, you're gonna fall. You got to keep on moving. It's like I tell a lot of people who are in really comfortable situations that they don't want to get out of. It's like, do something that's gonna change your comfort zone and actually make you be put into a situation where you're gonna sink or swim.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because you got to keep on paddling unless you're gonna sink if you don't know how to swim, right? And so you got to keep on paddling to keep your head above the water. If not, you're gonna drown and you're gonna die.
And that's the one big thing about taking a leap of faith is stepping out of that comfort zone and like getting real with yourself and telling yourself that I'm gonna keep pedaling. I'm not gonna sink. I'm gonna keep swimming, keep moving forward, drive with your heart, drive with your passion, and you will achieve.
I mean, you have to keep your mind set. You got to keep your mind focused, almost like a horse with its blinders on. That's what you have to do. You have to see your finish line, and don't lose sight of the big goal. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people lose sight when they do take the leap of faith, and they lose sight of the big goal.
They think, oh, I just want to do this small little thing, and they just take the leap of faith, and they're like, oh, it kind of worked, so therefore I stopped. You can't do that. You have to keep going, strive for the finish line.
So, I mean, have you taken any leaps of faith? I mean, I know we did the InformNation. Do you have any personal experience?
Personal experience with leaps of faith, yeah. A couple years ago, I lost my job. I was just a young kid and everything like that. I lost my job, went through some hard times, got kicked out of my house and stuff. And I was gonna go to the Navy. And I was thinking about it, really, do I want to go to the Navy? Do I want to go to the Navy? And like, I kind of almost had to force myself to do it, but I talked to a friend of mine, and he was kind of a manager at PepsiCo, where I work now, and he told me, he's like, don't go to the Navy, do this. And I was like, hey, I don't know, I kind of want to just do this Navy thing, get away from it all. He's like, no, man, get this job, it's going to change your life. And it's put me at a whole nother different platform of myself, like financially, mentally, physically, and almost emotionally too, that I feel like a better person today now knowing that I didn't go to the service and I took this job, and it's set me on a good path in my life, to the point where I came to InformNation with like a good background for me, and I'd be able to strive at this too. Even InformNation was a leap of faith for me.
I mean, it's kind of like everything that you were doing kind of led up to this.
Oh yes, definitely.
Like if you went to the Navy, you wouldn't be here today.
No, I would not be. I wouldn't say I would even be as awake as I am today, because I know, in the service, there is that like collective type of mentality.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to be exposed to a lot of the people and things that I've been exposed to, and it wouldn't have been how I am today. And how about you? Have you taken a leap of faith?
I probably took a couple of leaps of faith, and almost one of the leaps of faith I guess I should bring up is probably the one that I didn't do, or something that kind of what you're talking about, that leads up to the moment where we're at now. And sometimes you have to go with your gut, and sometimes you don't. And the one thing I always question is, should I have still played high school football? I mean, I quit after my freshman year, and the reason I quit is a really stupid reason. I don't like to use the S word too much, stupid. But I quit because I didn't want to practice anymore. And that's really the reason why I did it.
Well, everybody knows practice makes perfect.
I know, and what I thought back then, I was like, I'm good and everything, and I started on the A team, and I hardly went to the practices, but I still got to start. And pretty much I was like, I don't need to start, or I don't need to practice and everything, just some high school mentality and matureness.
We were all kids.
And pretty much I gave up on it after my freshman year, and actually I even had the varsity coach and everything coming to me saying, are you gonna go to the workouts and everything? Are you gonna come practice with us and everything like that? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll stop by there. Never ended up doing it. Just kind of dropped out of football, and I still wonder what I would have become if I actually tried at that. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, am I regretting it or am I not regretting it? And I have to say, right now in life, I don't regret it, because it's one of those things that, I wouldn't be who I am today without it. Because, even though you have to take leaps of faith sometimes, And you might have said, well, I didn't take my leap of faith 5 years ago or 10 years ago when I had that opportunity. But you always have another opportunity coming to you.
Yeah, you can't be held back.
Yeah, you can't be held back by your past.
No regrets.
It's like, I can't be going into situations like, oh, well, football's gone now. That was my thing. Now I can't do it anymore, so I'm just going to coast by life now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I'm going to keep on fighting for what I truly believe in still to this day, and it always changes. So even if you do have something in the past that you regretted, you should always still strive for something new in the future that you're still dreaming towards. It's still one of your dreams, your goals that you're trying to strive for. And so you should still go after those, even though you kind of let some things pass, but still take that leap of faith in something new. Because that's what it's all about, right? I mean, if we're not like risking life, or we're not, going out there and taking every moment for what it is, then what are we actually doing here? If we're not following our dreams and following our passions and taking those leaps that maybe, give us butterflies in our stomach, or maybe feel like our stomach drops or anything like that and gets really uncomfortable, what's life then? I mean,
wow.
If you can't take a leap of faith, what is it?
That's powerful.
I mean, really, it is powerful, but at the same time, it's really true. Because, we're running through all these emotions all day long, but we're never feeling those really exciting emotions anymore. And I think those really exciting emotions...
So it makes you feel alive.
Yeah, it makes you feel like, oh my God, like, what am I doing right now? Like, oh, you got to, like, struggle. You got to paddle. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, sinker or, paddle or swim, or sink or swim. Mm-hmm. And you got to start swimming, you got to start paddling, and you got to do something.
You got to be thrown out there to the lions and get at it and do it for yourself, because that's what builds character. It builds experience.
And, that was kind of my personal experience with it. Another personal experience was taking a leap of faith is, of course, doing the InformNation radio show. I recently just put up a website, alexmichaelgabriel.com. I've been doing the YouTube videos. That was kind of taking a leap of faith, because you're putting yourself out there. And that's another leap of faith, even though it could be a smaller one in your life, is say something that you always wanted to say. Because if you're getting held back and you're not saying it, then that's going to start, pushing inwards and going to start closing you off, and not actually, manifesting itself into reality and actually saying, hey, you know what, I don't like how you do this, or hey, why don't you try it this way, or, I really appreciate you and I really wanted to tell you this. Because most people kind of refrain from actually taking a leap of faith with their own thoughts or what they're going to say. It's like, if your girlfriend or something was doing something that you really didn't like, and it's like, well, if I tell her this, it could ruin everything. Or if I tell her, I don't really want to be with her, that this makes me feel uncomfortable, she might break up with me. But if your heart's telling you that, I think you should just say it.
Honesty is the best policy.
And that's another thing. It's about being honest. Even honesty derives to leap of faith these days. Because if you're not saying something, then you're not being faithful to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And so, me and Dave were doing some looking up about leaps of faith. And actually, what I found on one of the websites here, Body, Mind, Green, there's actually 7 steps for anyone to take a leap of faith. And I'm going to read them off here. And we're going to kind of go over them by each one. And the first one is listen to the voice in your head. Everyone has it, right?
Yeah.
You have that little guy that's like talking to you in there, and he's like, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
Your little conscience.
Yeah, it's your conscience. And it's, like I was saying before, it's kind of, treat your body right, and your body will talk to you. Your mind will talk to you, and it'll give you clear thoughts.
Just like Jiminy Cricket said, right? Let your conscience be your guide.
Exactly.
And that's like, what it really comes down to is like that passion, that heart inside of you that's telling you to do the right thing, that gut feeling.
Exactly. And then, we got number 2 here, which kind of goes along with what we were just saying, is practice daily self-care. Take care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're not taking care of yourself, your mind's not going to take care of yourself either. And you're not going to be able to take that leap of faith if you're not normally taking care of yourself. You're going to fail when you do.
Oh, definitely. You're the one whose responsibility it is.
And then here's a good one, which kind of we talked about before, is replace fear of the unknown with a sense of desire for what's to come. It's about stepping past that fear again.
Breaking out of that comfort zone.
Because it's that jailer, like we talked about before, that mental capacity that's holding you back. And it's pretty much fear staring in your eyes and saying, you're not going to do this. You're too scared to do this. You're too scared to jump out of your comfort zone and actually say this right now, or do this right now, or go venture towards this.
But you got to break that. You have the strength. You have the power.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we'll be finishing up with these 7 steps, and we'll be bringing on a special guest right after this. This is InformNation, and we'll be right back at you. 23 minutes past the hour here. It's InformNation, And this is your host, Alex Gabriel, with my wonderful co-host,
David Sick.
And here we are today talking about taking a leap of faith.
Jump.
Jump. Don't look back, just jump. No, I'm kidding because, sometimes they say, oh, what are you going to jump off a bridge if I told you? No, don't do that.
No,
don't
like
take that sort of leap of faith.
I'm talking about leap of faith from the heart.
Yeah. And we were talking about on the website Mind Body Green, they were giving us 7 steps for anyone to take a leap, 7 steps for anyone about to take a leap of faith. And the last one we just went over was replace fear of the unknown with a sense of desire for wants to come. And so that's, kind of looking past the fear that's looking at you, taking all the doubt out of your mind because, a lot of us are sitting here when we are about to take a leap of faith. We're like, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? And don't get me wrong, you gotta think about it, but don't overthink it because then you won't do it then, and the moment will pass.
I say a good thing is take 5 or 10 minutes out of every day and visualize it, see it in your head, believe it. What does it look like? What does it feel like?
You gotta manifest it.
Who's around you? What are you doing?
You gotta manifest what you want. And a little quote that I came up with is, your imagination is making this creation a manifestation.
I like that.
And, this whole world is kind of our imagination because everything being put into it is kind of created by the imagination. This computer in front of me was someone's imagination that kind of developed this idea and kind of made it happen within the world.
That's a great thing about what humans can do is that we can think and then just turn our thoughts into actual realities.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
I
That's
know.
like magic.
That's one thing that stepped us so far ahead of anything that's ever been here.
That's kind of what puts us away from the animal kingdom, even though we shouldn't look at it that way, but that's kind of what made us come out of the animal kingdom. But we shouldn't think we're better than them, no.
It was that first early human that took that leap of faith and built that fire or killed that animal by himself.
Yeah.
And thought, hey, I did this by myself. I can do things. I can make these thoughts into reality. And that was a leap of faith that just transformed humanity ever since.
Imagine what the people thought for the guy that first created fire. They're
yeah.
probably like, wow, man, what'd you do?
Yeah.
And, he sort of turned into almost like a king or a very wise guy that, kind of could create fire and keep people away from harm at nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
And that's pretty much why they created fire, right? Is because, not why, but, put light at dark times. Dark times when the sun went down, it got very scary and, cold, and then, animals tried to attack during that time. And the fire kind of helped keep the animals away and kind of help keep everybody safe at nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to move on to the next one here. Number 4 is let yourself be supported by like-minded people. And I like
that quote.
I think we talked about this last time. Surrounding yourself with people, who are supporting you, who are going to, inspire you.
Yeah, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, give you motivation and everything. You should be looking towards those people around you to actually, maybe take this leap of faith. Because if you're surrounding yourself by a bunch of, lack of a better word, bunch of douches, they're not going to support you in taking the leap of faith.
No.
Like, hey, bro, you shouldn't be doing this, man. Dude, think about the consequences, man. You'd be without a job. Dude, you're going to lose everything, man.
And then, you got to tell those people, hey, just because you're not doing it, just because you didn't have the cojones to take that leap of faith for yourself, don't be here and sit on.
Rain on my parade.
Rain on my parade is what I was getting at.
There we go. Okay, so number 5, quit comparing yourself to others around you.
That's big.
And that's one of the hugest things because you're not anybody else. You're yourself.
Yeah.
When they even talk about being in the gym is, don't compare yourself to the guy over there because you're not him. You have your own set of, plateaus and goals that you're trying to reach, and your body, your mind, your outcomes, your passions, your dreams are different from another person. So don't compare yourself to other people because then that's going to set you back then. And that's what you don't want when you take a leap of faith. You want to keep on paddling or pedaling, and that's kind of what you want to do. And so you don't want to actually fall back and actually start comparing yourself to other people. Like, well, I don't have what this guy has, or I don't have what that guy has.
And that's important because you have to focus on your desires.
Exactly.
Focus on what you want. It's because when you start paying attention to that, you'll get exactly what you want out of it. You're not going to get what somebody else wants or like a version of their outcome. It's your own outcome. You're an individual, and that makes you you.
And then, if you take that and you think about law of attraction saying, hey, whatever's going on in your mind. So you're like, oh, well, I want what that guy has. Or you're sitting there saying, well, why don't I have that? Well, in your mind, you're saying, well, why don't I have that? Don't have that. And so that's kind of what's going to be created in your reality is saying, well, I don't have that. And that's going to kind of create itself as that you'll never get that then because you're using the word I don't have it. Instead of saying like I want that or I'm going to work towards that, and that's kind of putting the glasses half full mentality to it. And so you're actually going to say I want that, and then sooner or later, whatever you do during your life or whatever you do, you're progressing. You'll get that instead of saying like I don't want it.
Yeah.
I've heard a story of a guy actually. He used to be really down on himself, and he used to walk the streets home every night, and he used to get picked on by people. And because his mind was always saying, well, I don't want to get picked on by those people. I don't want to get picked on by those people. And they used to always just kind of go up to him and pick on him. But once he kind of read the book Law of Attraction or The Secret, he actually thought, well, hey, maybe instead of saying I don't want these guys to pick on me, maybe kind of just going through and being like, oh, I'm going to be okay. Like, today's a great day.
Yeah.
This isn't going to... No, don't even say this isn't going to happen. Don't say that. Just keep your mind on the positive side of it. Don't say this isn't going to happen. Just say, oh, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to walk home safe today, and whatever else is the positive side of it. And ended up, the guy stopped picking on him. And he was actually a comedian, too, and he always used to get laughed at off stage. And he pretty much was like, I hate people laughing at me. Everyone's laughing me off the stage. Nobody likes my jokes. Always used to be down about himself. But then he changed his mindset, and he started thinking positively. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to kill it tonight. I'm going to be the funniest guy out there. Always positive, positive, positive. And actually the crowd started loving him, and he actually became a more of a famous comedian. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I saw it on YouTube, a little interview that someone had on there. But
that's true because you are your own thoughts. And whatever you think in your head will manifest out in front of you. So if you keep telling yourself that, oh, I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm not good enough, you're going to believe that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
But you have to believe in yourself and take that leap of faith and know that you are the best thing for yourself here. And your chances of getting out of bad situations is 100%. Your reputation of that is 100%. So you need to strive for 5, strive for gold stars, not demerits, and put yourself above and beyond.
And that I think that leads us to number 6 here, which is celebrate what you've manifested to date. Kind of be grateful for what you have right now. I'm very grateful that I live in a house with a very loving family. I have a very good job right now. I have this great radio station. I have great friends around me. And those are all things that I really appreciate. And sometimes even for myself, it's hard. It's hard to think about celebrate what I already have. It's like, okay, I already got these things, but I want those things now. And it's like, being that success driven, and I understand for those out there who are success driven, they're not kind of happy with where they're at in life.
They always want more and more and more.
And they're always trying to get more and more and more. And I'm a person like that as well too, because I'm trying to be successful in this radio show, off the radio show, in my store, online, on my YouTube channel, my website. And sometimes it's hard to kind of draw back and be like, well, look how far I've got so far. Look where I was, a year ago, and look where I'm at now. And sometimes people neglect to think of those things. And it's actually going to help you get to where you want to go is by kind of what it says in number 6, celebrate what you've already manifested.
Definitely.
We've manifested this radio station right now, and it's like, well, look at it, dude, we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're sitting here, we got a guest to our right now that we're going to bring on in a little bit. We got Todd over there in the studio. This is happening right now. And we talked about this over a year ago, and now it's actually here. Now it's actually, we're doing the radio show. We're here live, brought to worldwide, and we're actually doing it.
And that goes right into the thing we were talking about before. Our imaginations made this creation a manifestation. Because we talked about this radio show before a year or so ago, thought about, hey, what's a good way to bring information, truth, and light to people out there at a wide range? Should it be YouTube? Should it just be Facebook? And then InformNation came along, this radio, and it was perfect because, we stuck by our word. And we stuck to what we were thinking about and what we believed in. And it really manifested.
And here we are. We're bringing you InformNation every Monday, 2 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, we really appreciate everyone who's listening out there.
Definitely.
We wouldn't be here, if nobody was listening out there. We wouldn't be here without our sponsors, too, like Sinorama and Sarpino's Pizza and iVideo Party. These are the people that keep the station going.
Yes.
These are the people who keep Todd behind the computer screen in the producer studio, keeping us thriving. This is you.
And if you're a person like there and you like other stations or anything else on 24.7 The Stream, support the sponsors, support the other stations, because we're all in this together, and we're all striving to be the best versions of ourselves. We're all striving to be the best, and it's the sponsors and the other hosts on this radio show that are really making everything definitely making a difference.
I mean, that's why we're here right now, is because of these sponsors. Todd wouldn't be in business if none of these sponsors were here, and we really appreciate everybody out there. So, I was just thinking from our last show, and I know I kind of went off subject right here, but we really just wanted to say thank you to all the sponsors out there, to all our listeners out there, for listening and tuning in. Because
we're celebrating what we've manifested to date.
Yeah.
We're giving thanks. Like almost like a Thanksgiving. What is Thanksgiving? It's thanking God, thanking everything around you for what it's
gave us.
Yeah, for what's been brought to you. And if you're not giving thanks, if you're just always trying to see, it's always grass is always greener on the other side, then you're never going to be able to say, hey, look what I have. I'm proud of what I have. I'm happy. Now I want to make it better. And that's the way to do it.
And I think we almost have to take it as like a little bit of a homework assignment. I'm not saying this is going to be our homework assignment this week, but it's something that you have to consciously stay aware of, saying, be happy for what you have. Because a lot of people out there don't have what we have.
Yep.
A lot of people out there, are a lot worse off than what you have. And so we always have to be very grateful for it. And because the gratefulness will bring you more things as well. Because if you can be grateful for what you have now, you can be grateful for what you'll have in the future.
Definitely. If you can celebrate what you have, better things will come your way.
Exactly. And then last but not least, number 7 here, remember you are fabulous no matter what's in your bank account.
You are fabulous.
And so, just be patient out there. The money will come if you're doing your passion. You'll always have enough money to do what you want. It's kind of the way I think about it. And the way I think about it, too, is either with the radio station and everything, a lot of money's getting put out there, but I'm not too worried about it because it's my passion, it's my heart, so the money will come. I'm not really worried about it. I'm more worried about doing what I love doing, and then things will fall into place
it's
afterwards.
Just money.
Yeah, it's just some paper.
It's just paper. It's just fake. It's not gonna come with you. You're not gonna take it with you at all. And if you live your life according to money, you're never going to be able to enjoy all the memories and things that you've made with people, because maybe you didn't want to make that memory because you didn't, I don't want to go spend any money. Like when we went on vacation to Florida, I told myself, I'm going to be spending money, but I'm not going to just hold myself back, because it's those memories that I still have that I got the money back. I went back to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I got money no matter what. You're going to go back to work no matter what, but you're never going to be able to have another chance to make that memory, to have that moment that you're going to have forever, because the monies will come and go, but the memories will stay here forever.
Yeah, I think we drank and ate like kings that week down in Florida right there. That was a good fun time.
Definitely.
So you should always treat yourself as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Always treat yourself out there. And what I wanted to talk about taking a leap of faith here is actually a little bit of a movie analogy or a movie scene about taking a leap of faith, which I thought was interesting, is in Indiana Jones and the Crusade.
The Last Crusade?
The Last Crusade, yes, The Last Crusade.
Sean Connery.
And Indiana Jones, what he has is he has a map. A very trusting, loyal friend gave him this map. And what he's got to do is he's got to go down in this cavern and follow this map in order to find, what is he trying to find in the movie?
The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail. And so this map's leading him down this tunnel, and it leads him to this big ravine or cliff. I don't know what to call it.
It's like a giant chasm in the ground.
Yeah, just this huge kind of open abyss. And he's standing there, and he's looking at the map. He's like, well, I know this is right. It's got to be true. Here's a guy taking like a step off this like abyss cliff, and supposedly that's what you have to do. And he's standing there thinking about it. He's got a short amount of time because Sean Connery's over there telling him, hey, you got to take the leap. Please do it. Do it, Indiana. And so what ends up happening is he kind of, crosses his heart, kind of puts his hand on his chest and takes a big step out there, and boom, like this invisible force field, sort of rocky, whatever it does. I think it turns into like a rock after it's invisible, and he's able to walk across it then. And so that's kind of almost like God almost kind of saying, okay, well, you took the leap. Here I am. I'm going to help you now.
Definitely.
It's almost like God putting his hand out under your foot so you could keep on walking. Because guess what? You entrusted in yourself. Well, now I'm going to help you out a little bit more. And if you keep on taking those steps in life, those little leaps of faith, you know, you'll keep on having them work out for you. Long as it's what you really want to do, long as it's really your passion in life.
Because no matter how you think of it, taking a leap of faith, in the end, is progression. You're always progressing. And there is no constant. I mean, there is, what's the saying? It's the only constant is change. So you taking a leap of faith is going to be able to bring you more closer to your dreams, closer to your goals, and closer to yourself, right?
Exactly. So after this, we're going to be having our special guest, Matt Vine, on, but we'll be right back right after this. InformNation, back at you. It's 42 minutes past the hour, and it's Monday Fun Day.
Hey, hey!
And who we have in the radio station here is a pro wrestler, Matt Vine.
The world exclusive.
Bum, bum, bum. Matt, please introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? You guys ready to get X-rated?
Oh.
Well, that's too damn bad, 'cause this is InformNation. Let's go.
Okay. You know, keep it. Uh-oh.
Oh!
Let the bells ring. It's game time.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Now the reason why we have Matt on our show today is because we're talking about taking a leap of faith, and personally, I'm friends with Matt over here, and we wanted to hear about Matt's leap of faith because from what I know, he took quite a big leap of faith, and you don't always hear that every day from people, and I always respect that in someone when they do take a leap of faith, and so I believe Matt kind of went into wrestling on a leap of faith, right?
Yeah, I went into professional wrestling on basically just a whim.
Just a whim. I mean,
yeah.
Actually, fruit grows on the limb, so, you might as well go out on the limb because that's where the fruit is, right?
Yes.
There you go.
There we go. So, Matt, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about, how you, took that leap of faith and what you actually did?
Okay, well, what I did was I was going to college at community college level, got my associate's degree, then got into Roosevelt University. And I've been going on for school this would have been my 3.5 year, because I took half semesters as well over the summer sometimes. So I figured I'd go, wow, school isn't really for me. I know this. I don't like how they teach. They throw a lot of political entities into it, but I won't get into that because that's a whole nother story. But I knew how it was going to be, and I knew that I couldn't be in school anymore. And I knew that I always loved wrestling. I thought, I'm sort of a big guy. So.
Oh, he's definitely big. Man, how much, you weighing like 230 now, just full of lean, mean, muscle-fighting machine?
Oh, I wish. I weighed myself last night. I was like 222. So,
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, small guy over here.
Yeah, I lost some
Pit
weight.
squeak.
So I went into Roosevelt University still because, that was the plan. Everybody had the plan, like, let's go to school, get that degree, and get that job. So I was going there for business ethics. I had all my classes picked out. I had to sit down with some lady. This should be good for you. Well, this would be good for you, too. Oh, and you know what? And the whole time this is happening, I'm thinking to myself, well, who the hell are you? How do you know what's going to be good for me?
Those counselor
you
ladies?
don't know
Yes.
me. Like, who are you? Get off me. So I take it. I'm like, all right, I guess. And I see like business of like 1847 or something. Like I didn't even know businesses existed. Like, old ethic businesses. So I'm coming up to the register, and it was like some middle-aged woman. And she's telling me, it's like, well, your tuition's going to be about $3,000 for the first semester. Okay, so I had this blank check with me that my dad actually gave it to me. So I fill out in the little box $3,000, and I didn't write to who yet. I wrote the amount actually in, and then I started signing my name. I didn't want to write to who yet because I knew in my head, I was like, I don't really want to do this. So I'm signing my name. I got M down, A, I get halfway through the T, and then I just dropped the pen, which is pretty funny. So I take the check by both ends like this. I walk back, and I turn with, I'm not saying a word now. I'm not saying a word, and I just walk away. And all I can remember, because I was in such tunnel vision for that elevator, because it was downtown Chicago, I heard the lady, she goes, sir, and there's the protective glass, because it's in the city, only they can open it up. So she's opening up, she's like, sir.
Kind of leaning out the window.
Leaning her head out the window, like, where are you going? And I just holding the check in front of my face. I'm just walking like tunnel vision towards that door. Next day, I find a wrestling school and I sign myself up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a leap of faith.
And I've never gone back to school since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You talked about like not looking back.
Yeah.
I have not looked back.
How do you like doing the wrestling now? I mean,
I love it, man. Like, WrestleMania was last night, and I was definitely watching. It was one hell of a WrestleMania, and I know in my mind that I'm going to be part of that one day.
There you go.
I'm going to be part of that one day.
you imagine it. You imagine yourself standing up there, with the big old belt holding up,
Yeah.
while you just took down the Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all 65 of them.
It's like David versus Goliath, and
One day.
one day. There we go.
One day.
So, what was your feeling like after you left there and you actually didn't decide to do that? I mean, were you scared at all? I mean, what kind of ran through your mind?
Well, I'll tell you what definitely did happen was I went through with it, and I felt rebellious at first. I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this. All right, you know what I'll do? I'll push this off as much as I possibly can. And then, schools, I didn't know this at the time. But I knew it, but I forgot it. Schools send out report cards like on a monthly or like 2-month basis for the semester, and they send it via mail. So my dad, who comes up to me one day, he's like, "So, how's school going?" I go, it's business,
1847 business,
that's some rugged stuff, Got to talk about that Industrial Revolution, and which I don't even think was at that time yet. Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, so my dad goes, yeah, so when are you going to get your report card? I want to see how you're doing. I go, well, I'm getting A's. I'm getting I'm getting B. I'm getting that B in 1847 business ethics. I'm getting B. That's one tough mother, man. And he goes, all right, okay, so where's the report card then? I go, I don't know. It's freaking schools, you know how they are. They're all government mandated and shit. They're gonna send it in the mail. It's gonna take like 5 years to get here. He goes, all right, well, let's see what's going on next week. Well, next week, I'm all nervous about my decision now, because now I got my dad crawling up my ass. Another week goes by, there's no report card. He goes, where the hell is your report card? I go, all right, Dad, look, I've been going to school. Just not the school you're thinking of. I've been going to wrestling school, and like you, I got kicked out of my house so fast I didn't even know where to go. I hopped in my car with a bag of clothes, and I spent, I don't know, maybe better part of half a year with my friends downtown in the city.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I lived out there. I was throwing in more money than they were, and I was just this whole time, like, it's tough. Like, to answer your question, it's tough. When you first make that decision, you're thinking to yourself, what the hell did I get myself into? Why did I do that? This is stupid. Like, I'm at rock bottom. I was building myself up. I was going to make a fine career as an 1847 business major. What am I doing? Like, I barely know what the hell I'm doing in this ring yet. They didn't even let me in the ring. They didn't let me in the ring until, well, actually, they let me in like the next day, but but they didn't let me in the first day because they knew I didn't know anything, and I thought it was going to be this ongoing process forever. But I applied myself. But at first, it was really scary because you literally have to drop everything until you know you have something.
Wow.
I really commend you on taking that leap of faith, because life's too short to risk nothing. Yeah. And you took a big risk, and we've all taken big risks. And I can see, you're a lot better now. You're happy.
Oh, yeah.
You're happy at what you're doing. I know you as a friend.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen you wrestle yet.
Which you guys should.
I can't wait to go out there and see it.
You guys should, because I got a show this Saturday, and I got 2 tickets. One says David, one says Alex.
Oh. Where's the show at?
You know, it's on 1230 Davis Road in Woodstock. Actually.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a drive from here.
What time is
but
it at?
It's at 7:30.
7:30, okay.
First bell rings, yeah. And I'm taking on this big colossus guy named Michael Mack. If you think I'm big, this guy weighs 270.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Like the big show.
Yeah, well,
You know
he's not exactly as big, but
I feel like you got him though, because you took that leap of faith and you brought yourself to this situation, and you believe in yourself, and you're strong-hearted, and you're hard-headed, and you're gonna get at it.
Well, he's a big boy, and I respect him. I respect Michael Mack because he's done a lot in a very, very short amount of time. But he's getting towards that age. But like I said, even though I respect him, that doesn't mean I'm afraid of him.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
There you go.
So it's quite tough then, right when you take that leap. So you have to, what we're saying is you got to keep on pedaling.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There are, like you said, there's going to be a lot of doubters at first. Like, there's going to be some people who probably come up to you guys like, "Oh, how's that radio show going? It's not taking off as fast as you thought it was."
Definitely, and I've actually heard that from people. And like, "Oh yeah, well, you only have a few listeners, or you're not on a big station."
Like, you know what? You just started, and
Exactly.
I got made fun of. Like, "Oh, he does that phony wrestling crap." Well, you know what? I was in the gym before I came here today. That same stupid son of a bitch came up to me. He was like, "Oh, how's that wrestling thing going?" "Yeah, dude, wow, what, really? You're doing this now?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I was tag team champion already. I'm hopefully getting my information presented sometime in August to WWE. So, suck it,
A lot of people out there are going to be haters, man,
Gotta
I
let the
think
haters hate.
haters going to hate, at the end of one of our videos we did last time, get in front of the camera, haters going to hate. I mean, it's true, though.
It's true. You're over the target when you're catching the flack.
Yeah.
It's it's true because people are going to start hating you for, stepping out of the box.
Well, and that's when I say, screw you, F you, man, because you don't even want to take the time to know me. See, that's why what I do is why I latch on to you guys as friends outside of this world. Because yes, guys, hey, everybody, yeah, I know these guys. I know these guys. They didn't just find me off the street like, "Oh, he's a professional wrestler. Let's
ask if he
let's
took
go.
a leap
Let's
of
go
faith."
see if he made a decision to do it or he just got picked up." No, I know these guys, and I stick with these guys because they're technically on the same path as I am. They're doing the same thing as I do. They think the same way as I do, and when you're on a journey in life, you stick to those people who have the same journey as you.
Yeah, that was one of the things about taking a leap of faith is, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. We always got to keep on pushing each other. And, I heard someone's trying to push you into a little bit something different lately. And I don't know, I haven't heard back from you on this, but maybe bodybuilding?
Yeah, a little bit. Like one of my
You're striking a nerve.
Don't let him know that. That day job, if that's what you want to call it. My boss actually, he took third in Mr. Illinois 1987. Let's just
1970.
1970, 1987, whatever. I don't know the
1847.
exact. I just know if you look it up in Google, you'll find his name on there, and he took third in Mr. Illinois. So he tells me all the time, he's like, "You know what? You've been working for me for a year. I see you get bigger. You're getting bigger. You're looking better. Blah blah blah. Why don't you ever take this into bodybuilding?" I go, "I've never really thought of that. I've never even thought of that." But I go, "Well, I know I'd have to work out for a year straight on a completely different regimen. I'd have to train going from athlete to bodybuilding style.
Mm-hmm.
But I am definitely starting to consider it. Definitely starting to consider it as something that, especially coming out of high school, everybody's thinking about getting into. So,
does actually having to train for bodybuilding, instead of being an athlete, would that hinder you on the wrestling thing, or?
I don't even like to think about it like that.
Okay.
I just go. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys out there that I look up to, like Brock Lesnar. That guy looks like he could win a show if he really wanted to put the extra effort into it. That guy, especially before he went to MMA, when he was wrestling before, that guy looked like he could win a show. Triple H looks like he could win a show, and they work out. They're monsters of men, and they easily, in my opinion, could take a show. So it doesn't even cross my mind.
What's the biggest guy in the WWE right now?
What, bodybuilding wise?
Nah, just WWE's wrestler wise. What are some of the big names in there now?
Well, the big names, I guess you would say, would come to mind. Like every girl who especially listens to the show probably knows a guy named John Cena.
Ah, John Cena. That guy's like bodybuilder huge.
He's a bodybuilder. He's like 245, 250. Strangely enough, I've actually brushed past that guy. He's like yay tall on me. He comes up to like
couple inches
my
shorter.
eyebrows. Yeah, he's not as tall as you think he is.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1.5". 6'1".
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he's what, maybe 5'10"?
5'11"?
5'11", yeah. He'd say
5'10",
he's about
5'11".
5'11". I got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
See, this guy's taking on the guys in the ring. I'm sure you can do it too.
Yeah, he also squats over 700 pounds.
Oh wow, yeah. I heard he's a really nice guy. Actually, I heard he's got like his own like gym that he lets people like work out for free in, or he trains people, or
yeah. And he's got a workout program that helps with his father out. Because he developed it for his father, and it's like this. I don't know, a 30-day workout challenge or something. I don't know what it is, 90-day, 30-day. Something came out, but he does it to help. All that guy does is just want to help people.
That's
great.
That's great. The one thing is about taking like a leap of faith is once you take one, you got to keep on taking them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one and done. It's like, oh, I took my leap of faith for this lifetime. I'm done now. You got, you always got to take that.
You got to keep pedaling.
You got to keep pedaling. There's going to be another jump that you're going to have to make as well too.
Yeah.
There's going to be another abyss that you're going to have to look down.
For every level, there's a new devil. That's the way I like to look at it.
Oh, I like that. For every
like
level,
that.
there's a new devil.
Yeah, and I stole that from somewhere. I don't even remember where, but it stuck to my brain. And you know what? It's very, very true. When I got into wrestling, it wasn't all easy. Actually, I got unceremoniously kicked out, which I was already out the door anyway, from one independent promotion, which in my eyes, they still have no idea what they're doing when it comes to wrestling, but I had no idea what I was going to do. I took my leap of faith. I got into wrestling. I was building myself up. Then, not only did I come back from an injury, but I just got kicked out of this company, unceremoniously. So what do I got to do now? Well, am I going to stop doing what am I doing, or am I going to find somebody else? I got pretty much blackballed everywhere. What am I going to do? And then I ended up finding another company, and I had to start all over again.
So that's like almost like, you took your leap of faith and now you kind of got pushed down, but you got to stand back up again.
It's mostly naysayers, people who don't want to see you achieve, and they see some kid who comes in outshining a lot of other people, and there's a lot of jealousy in this world. That's the way I see it. There's a lot of jealousy in this world.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll take it. These people can take things away from you like that. They really can. And the best thing to do is just push through that no matter what. I've been blackballed from companies, all the promotions that host wrestling events. There was one person that took me. And right now, luckily, he's the guy who's got the ticket to the WWE.
There you go. There you go.
But when we come back, we're going to get more into Matt Vine's leap of faith.
Cool.
We want to know about your leap of faith. Join us. Call in. The number is 630-445-1213. Let us know how you took a leap of faith, and we'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. It's InformNation here, 5 minutes past the hour worldwide. And we're here with our guest, Matt Vine, talking about taking leaps of faith. Matt took a leap of faith going into wrestling, kind of gave up on the school idea. And, it's been, he hasn't looked back ever since. And here we are, taking a leap of faith ourselves and actually bringing Matt on the station. We had no idea what he was going to do, if he was going to bug out on us or...
And it's a leap of faith for us because this is our first guest.
Yeah, this is our first guest.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to take a leap of faith in Matt, bringing him here.
I question your judgment sometimes, but
I think we did pretty well. Pretty well. But, I wanted to bring up a couple things about taking leaps of faith. I wanted to hear your guys' take on it. And I have like a little quote here from Malcolm Gladwell. He's an author. And what this quote is this is what it's going to read out, and I want to talk a little bit more about it. Is what is it that we tell our children? Haste makes waste. Look before you leap. Stop and think. Don't judge a book by its cover. We believe we are always better off gathering as much information as possible and spending as much time as possible in deliberation. Now, what do you guys think about that? I mean, I know like we always grow up and saying, stop and think. And exactly what this says is, look both ways, always gather as much information as possible and then do it. I believe that's true to a certain extent. But then again, like if
Some
you,
things you just have to go out
Yeah.
on a whim about.
and then, like if you're gonna sit there and deliberate about it the whole time, you're gonna overthink it, and you're not gonna do it then.
Yeah, I honestly, let's see this quote here, Malcolm Gladwell, right? Haste makes waste. Well, in life, if you want to make something, you gotta push yourself to something. So you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about that. Like, there's a lot of philosophies about stop and smell the roses. Well, I want to be a successful person, and successful people work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Successful
Exactly.
people work at what they do.
Put their nose to the
So,
grindstone.
Yeah. Look before you leap. Well, I don't know. I don't even know what that means. I can't even think what
I
this
feel
thing.
like all of these
Stop
are
and
good at
don't
like based
judge
on
it.
the situation, you know.
Yeah, I guess it's like a situation derived thing. Like, what do
Yeah.
you do in this situation, right?
Mm.
I mean, we.
Here's my thing. Don't judge a book by its cover. Here's my only thing about it, because going to school, I wasn't really the smartest kid when I was in high school, and I think you and I can be level on that because
Yeah.
I didn't really care. But I know.
Fools, look at me.
Yeah, look at you, Mr. Deeds.
Schools for fools, but I got my own radio show.
Yeah.
what are you
funny.
doing? What are you doing now? If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a friggin' duck. You know what I mean?
It's not-
And if
it's
it's
not a
too
goose.
good to be true, if it's usually too good to be true, it ain't. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So when it comes down to don't judge a book by its cover, yeah, that holds true in some certain situations, but there's a lot of things that you can apply common sense, common knowledge to in life, and that's where you can bring this whole idea of I can make my own decisions in life. You know?
So it's almost like sometimes you should judge a book by its cover, building up on previous knowledge based upon that. And then sometimes you shouldn't judge a book on its color or based upon its cover, for the reason being is that you don't know a lot maybe about that person or
Yeah.
about that situation. So it kind of all derives in, how you feel about it. And it's like, well, if I'm picking up a bad vibe from the get-go, I mean, I could pick up maybe on an aura of someone or something like that and saying like, oh, I don't like that person, I probably shouldn't be around them.
Yeah.
And absolutely. And you know what the vibe thing is? I use that word a lot when I go out. When I used to go out, I don't go out anymore because I'm, lazy. Not lazy, but I'm very committed to what I do. I don't like going out. I don't like drinking too much. I'll go out maybe once.
Oh yeah, I feel you on
in
that.
2
one,
months,
definitely.
you know what I mean? I'll go out, I'll have my fun, but when I go out, if I'm talking to a girl and I get this bad vibe, I don't want to push this issue too much to find out that her boyfriend's one of the security guys and I'm not allowed in the bar anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I've had too many of those calls when I didn't think or didn't listen to myself and didn't take my own judgment, like, you know what, okay, all right, it could be this or it could be something else. It could be, see, when you stop and think, you overthink yourself to death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's when you think too much, and then guess what? I'm not allowed in Toby Keith.
And you've already missed your chance right there because you've stopped and you've thought too much about it, and you missed your opportunity because this could have been one of those opportunities that you just have to act on.
Yeah. And I think that, like, early in life and through childhood, I think they push the information too much on us with, like, stop to think and everything like that.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, letting us go outside, like, I was watching a documentary and I read a couple articles. One was on Mark's Daily Apple, great website if you want to check it out, is that, kids these days aren't learning for themselves.
No, they're just
And-
being sat there and like fed information just by like a teleprompter
Yeah.
almost.
It's like they call it helicopter parenting. Kind of always looking over your kid, taking this step or this step or this step, and saying just letting your kid kind of do what they want to do and either find out the hard way. And that's kind of myself is my parents always kind of let me go out there and do what I want to do. And I
Same
think
thing
that's
for me,
kind of
yeah.
where I think that's kind of what brought me to my personality these days is saying, hey, I'm going to do what I want to do. If I'm going to fail at this, I'm going to fall flat on my face, then I'm going to do it. If I'm going to break an arm, I used to break bones as a kid and got stitches all the time because I used to go out there and try new things that maybe I wasn't good at or anything like that and actually just kind of step out of the box and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to try this right now. And so I think that's kind of where, taking a leap of faith kind of goes as a kid is actually figuring out, like, hey, am I going to go climb this tree? I'm going to go down to the park by myself. And the leap of faith for some of these parents is saying, hey, I should let my kid go do this. Because when I was a kid, I grew up perfectly fine, and my parents never told me, hey, stay in the house or stay in the yard, or I'm going to watch you, or don't look at that show, or whatnot, or try to block this on the internet. And I think throughout time, I think we've kind of closed kids off from taking leaps of faith.
Definitely.
And telling kids always kind of take the safe route.
And we're seeing like the repercussions of that as well, because like, these kids they're not being very social about it anymore.
Oh, no,
they're
not at all.
They're not building that individualism that's like striving to be themselves because they're being kept in the house. You know, they're not allowed to like, oh, go down to the park and play with all the other kids when there's no adults supervising them. They're not going to do anything stupid. They know what the kind of the rights and wrongs are. Like, yeah, if there's a little scuffle or something like that, that's just kids being kids. But that's what we have to bring back to. What were we going to say, man?
Well, David, why would they when they got their, Family Guy video games? And I'm sorry. I get Kate to come at you like that.
It's a fun game.
It sounds like a fun
Sounds
game.
like a waste of time.
But look at you, got a cheap plug there. I think when it comes down to stuff like that, where people are no longer adventurous or they don't think for themselves, is because I think, and this is honestly, God, why I couldn't stand being in a educational forum. Is because in school there's a lot of, and I don't want to go as far as like, oh, it's the liberal agenda, blah blah blah. But in the sense it is. And I had this teacher once. He taught political science. Ironically, this guy's going to have
like a bias.
He's going to have a big bias. We had us do this project on guns and should they be legal to have, should they not?
Wow.
This kid I worked with, I don't remember this guy's name, but this guy, he studied this to a T. He lives in the inner city. He knows what it's like.
The student or the teacher?
The student, and he comes out and brings up this beautiful presentation. I can't believe, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get an A on this. This guy did all the work. This is great. He's like, dude, he comes up to me. He's like, okay, we're teaming together, right? I was like, yeah, we're teaming together. Look, dude, you're gonna be doing this whole thing. I don't care for this guy whatsoever. He's like, don't worry, man. I got this. I live this life. I'm like, okay. He goes, so he comes up, he tells everybody how he lives in the city and how he knows what he needs for protection when it comes to people who are getting guns illegally. Definitely. No matter what, you're gonna get guns if they're legal or not. They're getting them illegally.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be criminals out there.
You can't buy those military grade weapons in a gun store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to go through a lot of security background checks, all that garbage, and there's just, for the people who have them, there's no way in hell, even the devil will be like, I don't know if I want to give you this. You know what I mean? And the teacher comes up, he goes, he brings out this heartfelt presentation. After this kid brings up his heartfelt presentation, this teacher comes up, he goes, well, I wouldn't deal with much of that. I don't think having a gun would solve anything or protect you. I think that the person would end up it's only a matter of time before that person goes psychotic and ends up killing someone else or himself.
Even though all the studies show that a proliferation of guns actually stops crime, and that the only crime being committed is by the criminals.
Well, here's the thing. Texas has got no...
Perfect example, yeah.
It's got nothing on it. There's very minimal gun laws. United Kingdom has got more gun laws than we can even fathom, and they have the highest crime via gun violence. This is on Google too. So if there's someone who's got a political agenda against what I'm saying right now, go ahead, look it up. United Kingdom has the biggest gun violence in the entire world, and Texas has the minimal. And guess what? They have the least amount of gun laws.
Yep.
I mean, the gun's protecting us.
Yeah, and they're telling me...
It's not the guns. Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Exactly. You never go to a gun show and see a gun sitting there. It's like, oh, wow, that gun went off and killed somebody.
Yeah.
No.
People do it.
And it's that kind of teacher who tells you, like, this is the way you have to think in life. No, man, screw you, F you. I don't need to listen to you. That's when I've walked out of that guy's class less times than I should have, because I should have gotten out of there a long time ago.
It's like a lot of these teachers have agendas of their own, trying to push on the kids instead of letting the kids think for themselves.
I mean, in a nutshell, what it really boils down to, is cultural Marxism, and that's just And if you really wanted to take the layman's word for cultural Marxism, political correctness.
And I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
and I mean,
Love that word.
talk about taking a leap of faith here. You know, how many of these teachers took a leap of faith? I mean, being
I
a
bet
teacher
none.
is one of the most safest jobs. And I'm not downing teachers. I don't get me wrong. There are a
They're
lot of great.
essential to the community.
Yes,
sure.
there are a lot
Yes.
of great teachers out there. I've had a lot of great teachers myself, but
Not
how
to
many of
piggyback
them?
on that, but you know, our gym teacher from high school now makes over $100,000 a year to teach gym.
And football and wrestling. You
No,
talking
no.
about Coach Han?
No, I'm talking about Smelko.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
I just don't want him to listen here. Hey, Smelks, how you doing?
You know what they say? Those who can't do,
sister's hot.
teach.
And
Those who can't teach gym.
Yeah, this guy. I mean, he teaches he does baseball too. But how's the baseball team doing? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like, exactly my point. You know, you don't know because they're not doing so well.
I feel like some of
he
these
makes
teachers-
$100,000 a year.
Yeah, I feel like some of these teachers, like they're coaches, but they're not even like fully involved in the teaching. They're involved in the coaching of the sports, and like teaching is just their side thing, and like they're really focused on what they're doing in the coaching.
Well, that's kind of cool, though. I'm not gonna lie. I think that'd be kind of cool if you're a teacher. If you used to play the sport and everything, you want to coach, but
Absolutely.
like, is that taking the safe side of it? Like, being a teacher.
I
Like,
don't
I
know.
mean, teachers is one of the most.
I wouldn't err on it being the safe side of things. Like everybody, like I said, there's nothing wrong with teachers, but when a teacher makes $100,000 a year for gym, and he's not even a college teacher or a college professor,
I mean, that's a lot of money.
That's
Yeah.
striking to me. That's really striking to me.
I guess
Like,
you hit it big, though.
And most of these kids, what is gym anyway? You just play a little bit of
Well, that's the
physical
thing. That's the
activity.
thing. Like I know there's nothing wrong with it. I know a teacher who busts his ass. He works out with me at the gym. Big dude. He's a very stand-up individual, and he earns his way.
Lafani?
No, Chino.
Okay.
He's very, very smart on the way he teaches. He puts himself into his job. But like in school, when you got Smelks there, like sitting with his little clipboard and watching all the girls run around and doing their little laps, and he's like, okay, we're gonna play this sport today. Well, like, how many people have honestly gotten whipped into shape from doing Glenbard North Physical Education?
Never.
Or any type
That's my
of
point.
Well, I mean,
public school.
the only thing that I could say from being in high school and getting whipped into shape was strength training class.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
really enjoyed strength
Sure.
training class. I did it from junior year and
But
senior
that was
year.
still a class that you had the option to
Yeah,
take.
I think that's
which was your
considered-
own.
I think
In a
it's
way, it
considered
could
like
be
advanced gym. I think that's
sure,
what
but
they
in
consider
its
it
own
as.
way, for people, for like that big porker, and I hate saying the word porker about people, but those people, they took that leap of faith to want to better themselves, and they took that strength training class to get into shape.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
After this little break here, we'll be talking a little bit more about taking leaps of faith and a little bit of controversy with modern day leaps of faith in the society that we live in. So we'll be back right after these messages. Well, hello. This is InformNation, and here we are in Britain with our favorite guest of all time, Matt Vine, and I.
world exclusive.
Hello.
Hello. Actually, this is time of the hour where we usually like to do our British accent. We like to
Yes.
bring this on air.
Hello,
Right.
Governor.
Right, well, I'm actually new to the show, so I would love to partake in this
You'd love to
London
partake
English
in this.
British accent.
Well,
so
we got you a cup of tea right here.
that was a bit of coffee.
Oh, a bit of coffee, yeah?
Bit of coffee.
For chocolate.
Would you
Hot
like a
chocolate.
Would you
No,
like
no,
a
it's actually
crumpet?
coffee.
Would you like a crumpet with that coffee?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Well, what we want to talk about here is we want to talk about making differences in students' lives because we needed to have them take leaps of faith.
We just went from England to like Eastern
Yeah, I
Europe.
don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
A good thing we have good walls, because the insurance
Very good,
company.
very, very good.
The insurance company will never believe this.
Guten Tag, Fraulein.
So, what we wanted to talk about was actually, teaching the kids these days to take leaps of faith and actually not giving them enough motivation to go do what they want to do. And I think this weighs very, very heavily on the teachers because the teachers are the role models. The teachers are who our kids, your kids, my kids one day is going to spend about 50 to 60% of their days with.
Yes.
And not to mention they're going to spend years with over the first 18 to 21 years of their life or 22 years. Not to mention if they go on past that, they're going to be spending a lot of time with these teachers, and I think a lot of teachers need to take a look at what they're actually teaching these kids and have them take a leap of faith into their students, into actually thinking, hey, my student might know what he wants to be taught or what she wants to be taught. And I think that every teacher should maybe go against what the curriculum's saying and kind of teach from the heart. I mean, what do you guys think on this?
I think that you're a teacher. If you're a teacher out there, always remember this. When you call yourself a teacher, and you're supposed to be teaching, you're supposed to be bringing out the knowledge and everything that's inside of this child and bringing it forth and having it realize it for themselves, and not just sit up there with a projector screen on a board and
Thank you.
and just sit there and just like, here, take these notes. Because we've all been there. We've all had that one teacher that sat there and just put the projector screen on the board and was just like, hey, everybody take these notes down. The test is in the next week. And like, am I being taught anything, or am I just being given information and having to regurgitate it?
And that's the thing. How many teachers do you have? Oh wait, we're still talking like England.
Oh, you're still talking on England.
I'm sorry, but how many teachers you actually have that will actually just put up a projector and said, type down the notes and we'll
do this homework
week.
Assignment. Go home.
You know, like that is like go. Okay, so when it comes to, what if I have a question? What if I don't understand this? What if I can barely understand your notes that you wrote down?
Then you can join us after class.
Exactly. Yeah, let's join you after class, because you had so much time during your busy class hour schedule to explain things in the first place. I guess you didn't have any time afterwards either.
And that's where it comes down to the individual teacher himself, that they need to take that leap of faith in themselves and say, hey, we can see that the public school system isn't working for all these kids, right? This No Child Left Behind bull is just pushing everybody through. It's just, you're not even learning anything.
It's like dumbing down the system.
Yes.
It's like bringing the average down.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what it is. Like they've lowered the standards so far that everybody can just step over the line.
That's what happens with socialism.
That's what it is.
That's definitely what happens with socialism. I think that's what we're seeing in the United States right now is definitely
is socialism.
Socialist. Yeah,
next thing you know, you're gonna have shoes with 2 different size shoes inside of those boxes. When you go and buy your new pair of shoes, you're gonna have fucking, you open it up, one size of shoe, size 8, left foot, another left foot, 10 size.
I don't get that one.
What?
You never see how communism goes? Communism, socialism. You ever see how Russia? You never heard about this during the Cold War?
No. Please enlighten me.
When it came down to it, because everybody was getting their free pass, they knew what they were gonna do in life. They all knew, so they didn't really care. So when it came down to it, shoe manufacturers in Russia, if you ever seen a real Russian, look at his shoes. You'll know he's Russian by his shoes, because they do not have good shoes. They do not wear good shoes. They have horrendous shoes. And mainly a lot of that's emanated from the Cold War, because during that time, when the manufacturers, they had their plants and stuff, everybody would just take a pair of shoes, no matter what size it would be.
Just throw it in the box.
And just throw it in the box, and they'd sell it, and you'd open those box of shoes, and you'd have 2 left feet, one size 8, one size 10.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
That's what happens with the socialism is people stop caring.
Because they're going to be taken care of anyway.
Yeah, you're not working towards anything. You're going to be taken care of.
That's the saying that was going around was, we pretend to work and the state pretends to pay us. It's because if you're just guaranteed everything, you're not going to want to take that leap of faith and take that initiative in yourself and strive for better, because everybody's the same, right?
And I think that's what ends up happening with socialism is that when we start turning into a socialistic state, is actually that leap of faith starts becoming less and less and less likely to happen, because we have our elders, we have our wise people, or our politicians, or the people on the news saying, take the safe route. Take the safe route. Go to your college. And we actually have a caller right now. Let's bring in the caller here. Bring him on in.
First caller.
Hi.
Hello. You're live on InformNation. How you doing today?
I'm Sandy. How are you guys?
I'm doing pretty good. What's your name?
Christy Baker.
Christy Baker. What are you calling in for today? Do you have any questions for us?
Well, no, not really a question so much as, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
And I do agree that there are some really horrible teachers out there, and that is part of what's wrong with the kids today. But on top of that, do you guys realize that in other countries, they pay teachers as much as somebody who's a doctor, as opposed to here in America.
That's a lot of money. I think I actually heard about that, like over in Europe and stuff, right?
Yeah, and over here in America, all of my tools and that, I have to pay out of pocket.
So,
I don't get the choice to go and, just pull something off the teacher, out of the teacher lounge there, for my classes. And some of my books that I want to use for some of my classes, I have to purchase those myself.
Are you talking about the actual school books, like that were all given in the beginning of the school year, or are you talking about sort of different
some of
books?
them, depending on what I want to use. Yes.
Okay. What do you teach, if I may ask?
I teach fourth graders.
You teach fourth graders. Are you just overall sort of a teacher, teaching like everything from math, English, science, art, or how does that work out? Where are you from? What kind of school are you teaching?
It's public school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you? From where you're at, what do you think about? What do you think about teachers with inspiring kids to kind of take their own leaps of faith and actually go out there and actually kind of go try something that they really deep down want to do?
I agree, but I just feel like because of the way that America has treated the teachers, at least here in the last 5 years or so, that most of the good teachers that would do that, they're gone. They left.
Oh, wow.
They're not going to sit around and take this crap, because another thing with kids these days is that, their parents, for whatever reason, are not teaching them respect. They assume that the child is born with respect, and they are not born with respect. That is something you are taught.
Yes.
Very true. Yeah. Now, you said to say that these teachers were being treated horribly. Can you enlighten actually me on that? Because I am a little bit more on the anticlimactic side of this. Because from my understanding, there's a teachers union, and there's this something called, what was it? Tenure, where you guys cannot be fired after 18 months of working. Something about that. I don't understand. I just don't see the motive for good teachers when they're taken care of very, very, very handsomely. I don't know if it's different in. I'm sorry, but I'm from Chicago, so I can detect an accent from a mile away, and I don't think you're from here. So
I am not.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of these teachers have tenure and everything. Is that true in your district? I know it's usually around 18 months to 36 months to actually get tenure in a school, which meaning that if a teacher does good up to about 18 months, after that 18 months, they have tenure now and they cannot be fired. I think after that tenure happens, that it kind of brings down the, what should I say, the level of teaching then. So actually it's almost like socialism in the school now.
There's no motivation to do anything.
Yeah, there's no motivation
productive.
to move past kind of what, go above and beyond your teaching kind of abilities and actually kind of help.
Right, exactly. That's why these good teachers that do want to go above and beyond, they realize they're not going to be recognized for that, so they just up and quit.
But why would they want to quit? They're being taken care of. They're getting paid more via referendums of the schools and everything.
Because when you have a passion to want to teach kids, and these kids are either A, they are not paying attention, or acting like they want to learn because, all of their other teachers in the past or what have you, or even at home with the parents, they're not doing their homework or whatever the case may be. It's hard for just one person to show them the passion that they need. Does that make sense?
Do you feel like the whole No Child Left Behind thing has just lowered the standards of teaching?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Okay, so coming from a teacher, we could definitely say that the whole Child Left Behind is actually bringing down the whole average of how smart people are becoming these days, because we have to teach every student the same things. We have to have them pass.
And it's also another bad thing about that is that the children that do want to learn and are doing good and do get A's and they want to get above and beyond that, they feel like, why should I do all that hard work with, John Smith in the other seat next to me? Well, he gets B's or D's, and if he's lucky, and so Why should I work all hard?
It's like he'll still get to pass the class. I mean, that's really what
Exactly.
all these. And then I think
Exactly.
the teacher thing relies on like how many students you have passing, right? I mean,
I think that's where your children get a little lazy then, They feel like, well, I don't have to do the work. I'm still going to pass. I'm still going to graduate or what have you.
Now, would you agree that, now I know that the teachers' unions and everything actually push for these tenure options. Would you think that a teachers' union is positive or negative? And then what's your take on that?
I don't really want to talk about that a whole lot, but
I understand.
I think it kind of depends on who you talk with and what union exactly that they are a part of, what group. I think that they are good. I think they need to be definitely out there, but I can't say overall that they're extremely helpful.
I just think the unions kind of take and I agree with unions to a certain degree. I think we're kind of viewing eye to eye on this, is that I do agree unions are good because it kind of gives you what you need in order to live life and everything and whatnot. But then I think it also kind of takes away the competitive nature,
yes.
the moving forward, the drive, the passion that goes into teaching, because some of these teachers are sitting there thinking, well, I'm automatically going to get paid no matter what. I just have to have this many percentage of kids pass the class.
Yeah.
I'm going to give these homework assignments and whatnot. Instead of having like a teacher kind of have to stand out in order to be a teacher and be like, my class got all A's. Little Timmy over here came up with this whole little project that he's doing outside of class, and he's actually working towards that. And I think that's kind of the difference between the unions and then also kind of having the competitive nature
of teachers.
Every job in America right now is almost competitive, right?
Yeah, I would say. I would hope so.
Of course.
I would hope so.
And then I think the teacher unions are a little uncompetitive.
Right, and not just I didn't really mean to get on a huge topic here about teachers or anything.
No, it's okay.
But,
that's what we're talking about.
As far as like reaching a realistic goal in life and going out there and taking the leap of faith and what have you, I really believe that it does kind of come from the teachers, but I also kind of believe that it would really be beneficial if the parents at home, if they were out there showing their kids that, hey, I took a leap of faith and it worked out, and so can you. You want to be a doctor when you grow up? Well, then you better do your homework,
Definitely.
And
that's the thing that's like, sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to say that I think that as far as a society as a whole, that everybody's I think parents are just so tired because, they're working all day,
Mm-hmm.
and then they come home, and now they're going to have to initially teach their children, and so I think that that's kind of also where people have gotten lazy And
I think that kind of reflects on the parents and not taking a leap of faith if they are tired when they get home. It might have something to do with that. Maybe one day they didn't take their leap of faith, and maybe they're not happy with their life right now, and it's kind of reflecting back on the home and not being a good role model for your kid to take the leap of faith is the parent not taking the leap of faith and kind of just bringing the whole concept down.
Mm-hmm.
If a parent doesn't do it, the kid's not going to do it. His kids aren't going to do it, and then it just starts leading to a society where nobody's taking leaps of faith anymore into something that they're passionate about, and they're always kind of just going with the safe road.
And that's the thing about the public education system is like parents have actually like abdicated their responsibility in like teaching their own kids, and they've passed it on to the school system, and like they've told these teachers that like it's your job to teach my kid to be a person, when it's your job as a parent to instill virtues in your child that will that will help them like excel in themselves and have them take that leap of faith for themselves. That's really going to bring them out.
It's almost like the teacher or the parents kind of just pass the responsibility of the whole education and bringing the knowledge from within out off to the teachers. Mm-hmm. And then as what's your name again, Christy or?
Yeah, it's Christy Baker.
Christy Baker's sitting here saying, well, some of the teachers aren't given the right, essentials or right tools in order to kind of equip their kids with kind of creating their own thoughts. And not to mention, you have, the superintendents and you have all these kind of people looking down on you saying, well, why aren't you teaching them this, this, and this, and this, and this?
Yeah, it's like the curriculum.
Right. You know how many mothers and fathers that have called me up yelling out of school because their child isn't doing good, or the child comes home and says, so-and-so is picking on me. Well, I don't see that. I try to catch every child, and I don't like bullying or anything like that. I don't accept it. We have a no bullying rule here, and, it still happens. It's a very unfortunate thing, but I feel like that parent needs to teach their children that are either being the ones that are being bullied, and the parents of the children that are being the bulliers.
I have a question. What are these kids falling behind in fourth grade? I want to know, like, what is the most troublesome
a lot
for
of
these
it
kids?
is math and I think science. I noticed, I haven't been a teacher very long, but just even from when I was in school, I just noticed that the level that they expect fourth graders or any young child to be at is incredibly high compared to when, I was younger.
Now the question is, do you think that we should be teaching these kids more about themselves and their true passions and actually teaching them the math, the sciences? I get that we need a certain amount of, sort of basics to get us through every day, reading, writing, arithmetic, and whatnot. But then I think, some of these younger kids, I say we're trying to push math on them that's maybe too far ahead of them or too far ahead some, because I don't think as a human nature we have a really calling to be mathematical in nature. We're more kind of have a calling to be creative and more artsy and everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering what you think about kind of switching. What do you think about switching the style of teaching in school kind of away from the math and reading and arithmetic and everything more to kind of
helping the individual child?
Like maybe this kid, like they say he's got ADD, but maybe he's just got a lot of energy. And I don't think all these kids should be being doped up on ADD medication.
And also, what do you think about that? What do you think about
I agree with you. I really think they need to change the curriculum to fit each child, but it's very unfortunate. In my class, I have 25 kids that I deal with. That's a lot of children.
That's way too many kids I have at once.
Well, I have to admit, I don't have them all exactly at once. They are kind of split up between the other fourth grade teacher. But, there are times that I am teaching all 25 of these children, and same as the other teacher, and to individualize each one, it's almost next to impossible.
I feel like that almost comes back to like the parenting and how you as a parent needed to be involved in your child's life and how they're growing up and how they're learning, and not just passing it off to the teacher and the school system, because the school system, they have so many kids, they can't almost focus on one. They have to focus on all of them. And if you as a parent need to bring out what's good inside of your own child and have them excel at what they want to do.
Right. And and I'm not knocking parents at all, but I got to get going here soon. But the last parent teacher conference that I held, out of the 25 children that I have, I think maybe 17 parents showed up.
Wow.
So I also think that parents have too much, not that you shouldn't have faith in your child, but I don't think that these parents should just go up to their fourth grade child and say, are you doing your homework? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? And then believe exactly what they're saying and not check in with the teacher.
Well, thank you, Christy. I loved having you on here. We're going a little bit of a break right now, but I was very happy that you called in today, and I appreciated hearing your side of it, especially from a teacher as well too. That couldn't have went any better. But thank you, Christy. And after this break, we'll be back with our little homework assignment of the week as well too. We'll talk to you about what we did last week, but we'll be back right after this. And thank you, Christy. InformNation, back here, 47 minutes past the hour, worldwide. And, we were just talking and had a little guest on, talk about the school system and everything, and that kind of leads us to our next topic here, which is our homework assignment of the week. But actually, you know what? I won't bring it up yet because we haven't talked about last week's homework assignment.
I think you should actually thank Krista Baker for calling in.
Yeah,
Thank
Christy
you, Christy,
Baker.
for calling in. I don't know, down south or somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe in one of those states where it's safe, where they do have gun rights and everything.
Yeah,
one
maybe.
of those safe states.
Yeah, you know what, Christy Baker, thank you for calling in to my friend's show. It's been a pleasure having you.
And what we wanted to talk about here is we had a little homework assignment last week about going around to your local community and asking for information. And what me and David did after our show last week is we went over to the DuPage County Health Department, and we actually got a public records request. And we got some phone numbers and everything for a couple different municipalities for the water supply that we're going to have to contact. And then we're going to have to send in the FOIA request. So that's the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. You could ask for any of those from any of your public officials or public municipalities or any buildings or any, what would those be called? Sort of branches of your local government.
Yeah, exactly.
Branches of your local government, you could go there, ask for public records, kind of almost for whatever you want to ask for.
Bureaucracy.
So what we wanted to ask for was, what was in the water? What are they putting in the water? I know we all get these tests every year, and it'll say in your little town blotter or little town newspaper what was in the water. But I want to actually know what they're putting in the water. I want to know the amounts that they're putting in the water. I almost would like to go there and find out and see the process happening.
Oh, you wouldn't be talking about our tap water.
Oh, I would be talking about tap water.
Oh, you're talking about that.
Yeah, I'm talking about the water that they put the chlorine and the fluoride and all that mumbo jumbo in.
Yeah. We've all seen that video of that guy. It's on our Facebook page, InformNation, and it's the guy pouring the bag of sodium fluoride into the tap water.
Disgusting.
And
But hey, it makes your teeth wetter.
No.
That's just a cop out.
Actually, there's a little disease or something with sodium fluoride, is that it'll start making part of your tooth whiter than the other part, and it's actually too much sodium fluoride.
Fluorosis, yeah.
Fluorosis,
There's layers of your teeth, actually, and it actually decays. I believe it decays the outer layer, which is the one that it battles all the food.
The plaque and everything.
All the plaque, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it deteriorates the outer layer, which the inner layer, which is it hasn't seen anything.
It's more
yet.
porous.
It's white, yeah. So it makes it look white, but that tooth is weaker. It's almost like when you get your teeth whitened.
It's they open up all the pores, right?
Exactly, but it also pushes your gums up to make it like I don't want to say this, but your gums get weaker.
Okay.
So, as well as a lot of people who get their teeth whitened eventually, I'm talking way down the line, they end up falling out because the gum lining and the connection of the gum lining to the actual tooth is now weaker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did not know that, hey.
Yeah.
So, me and David went out. We got our public's record request. I hope everyone else did their homework assignment. We went out there, either meditated, got a records request, got involved in the community.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know. We'll keep on keeping you up to date with what happens with our public records request. And, knowing the government, it'll probably be months.
They'll just give you the runaround on every single
and
time.
months
It's
away.
just-
I just don't know when it'll get back to us. But anyways, it is Monday, and we are going to have another homework assignment for this week. So,
speaking of teachers and learning, let's get back to school. Back to school!
Homework assignment of the week.
God.
Ba-ba-ba. Homework assignment of the week is going to be taking a leap of faith. And when I say take a leap of faith, I'm going to kind of use, a couple of things. Either maybe you want to say something out loud to someone that you've always wanted to say. Maybe you want to quit your job and get a new job. Maybe you're trying to join a team. Maybe you're going skydiving. Maybe you're going bungee jumping. Maybe you're going to ask a certain special someone of getting married.
Ooh.
That, I think, is the
Or
biggest.
you want
leap
to
of faith.
just ask that special someone if they want to hang out sometime.
Maybe for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Just take a leap of faith this week. And next week, we'll be taking callers again, too. And we'll be in the chat room as well as usual. And we'll want to hear everybody's kind of story on what they did this week to take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
That's what life's all about, is taking those leaps of faith and putting yourself out there for the world to kind of judge you.
Because all the
almost.
world's a stage, and each of us is just a player. So are you going to take that leap of faith and get out there and see what the world really throws at you and see if you can handle it? Because I know you can.
I think I'm a little ahead on this homework assignment.
Yeah, I think, but maybe.
However, there's always new leaps that you can
exactly.
take.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
There's always new leaps.
What do you want to do? What's your next leap of faith in the Matt?
Fuck, I might do bodybuilding after all this. I don't know. There's a whole world out there that I haven't even
Right.
I know.
plunged into.
There's so many different things that we can do in life.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Maybe I could like get my own website and start selling my Vine Strong shirts.
There you go.
Actually, I like that Vine Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you show our camera over here?
Yeah,
show
sure,
your-
yeah.
show your Vine
This
Strong.
shirt right here.
Yeah, when
that sells for $12.
There you
Always
go.
remember
That's-
that we're videotaping here on the radio show.
So if you ever want to know what's going on in the studio, dude, go on the YouTube channel and check out our videos.
Yeah,
InformNation Live.
InformNationLive at gmail.com is our email address. You go on InformNation on YouTube as well. Right now, they're actually on my channel right now because we're actually taking a little time setting up the InformNation
Exactly.
YouTube channel. Next, we tried uploading one of the videos yesterday. It was going to take like 1,000 minutes. I was like, I'm just going to click out this
How many
right now.
hours is that? 1,000
minutes, dude. 60 minutes in an hour. Well, there's 10 hours and 600, so it's going to be close to 14 hours.
Let's gonna hit the math on this one.
14 hours, I think, something like that, right?
So it's like 1,000 divided by 60.
Yeah, what is it? 14? Is that what it
Divided
is?
by 60 is
14?
16.6.
16.6 hours. So we would have spent a little over half a day.
For you math people, 16.66 repeating.
So that's how long it would have taken us to upload a video. But we'll get back to it. We're gonna have 3 episodes on there. Going to be our debut episode. Which don't get mad at me. The video camera cut out like at 5 minutes left to go in the
We
show.
didn't remember to charge it.
And then we have the second episode that we had last week talking about kind of what's kind of keeping you down, what sort of things to look out for out there, and how to treat your body, how to treat your mind, and some of the things that you're going to have to look out for. And then, of course, this week's episode, taking that leap of faith. And,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, and you get to see the Vine Strong shirt on here, where you can go on Matt Vine's Facebook page and you can send me a PM, and you can ask for one, or you can go to a
there you go.
PPW event.
What's the Matt Vine Facebook page?
Just Matt Vine. You just look up Matt Vine, and it'll say entertainer on there. Go
So
ahead.
is it? So I got my computer open right now. Is it Facebook.com/Matt Vine?
More than likely.
It looks like the
No,
Matt Vine.
I don't know
here
who this Matthew
had
Vine is. You can
Matthew
get rid
Vine
of
with
all
some
that.
kitty
Why
cats
don't
and
you
chicken dinner.
Just go to that. Just
That's
go
what
to
it
that,
said. Kitty cat.
I don't condone that.
Matt Vine, entertainer. Here, I found you.
Look, Lily, you see, someone's
There
technologically
you go. So what's
literate
you want to shout out to? Maybe you should throw it on the InformNation page right now.
here.
I will, yeah.
You could.
We're gonna start doing that more.
I'm
often.
coming out with a new line too. It's gonna say. I was thinking about getting into a clothing line of like parodies and stuff, but like I'm gonna take like the army thing, like they're strong, and then there's Vine Strong.
Okay.
And then that's gonna be on the back.
So you're trying to do a whole parody thing.
Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Just like Matt Vine shirt now. It says
It's
Vine Strong, but
off
it looks
of
like Live Strong.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the Live Strong brand. And then there's this big thing. A lot of fans came up to me. He's like, you know what, you're so good at this. You're meant for more. I was like, dude, that is a line and a half. That belongs on a billboard. So I'm gonna get a shirt that's got that, because everybody's doing that stupid friggin' hashtag shit.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get one of those. I'm gonna put it like hashtag meant for more. And I'm
That's
gonna
cool.
start walking out the ring with that and like
I like
start
that.
screaming.
I like that. You're meant for more. That
You
kind of
want
goes on
that
with today's
leap of faith.
Yeah, it goes with today's episode.
You're meant for more than what you want. God, man, how do I think of these things? I don't know.
I don't know. We all got to start taking those leaps of faith, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm gonna finish off today here with a little quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Faith is taking the first step even when you cannot see the whole staircase. And that's what it's about.
Oh yeah.
You might not see all the way up there, but you do need to take the first step. And it's all about, I think we talked about it in here before, the baby steps, taking that leap, kind of seeing what your atmosphere is around you, taking a little consensus around what's going on, and jumping. And
Definitely.
we can, that's what we need to do here. We need to all take that leap of faith.
Because when we're going to climb that mountain of life, we're looking toward the summit, but we know that every single step is a leap of faith,
Next week, what should we talk about? Maybe we should get the viewers in on. Matt, what do you think we should talk about next week? So we went from
I
self-realization.
missed the second show, unfortunately. I know the first one was like
Self-realization.
self-realization, yeah.
and individual empowerment.
Individual empowerment.
The second one was how society and everything is holding back the individual.
Yeah.
And now this show is now that you're kind of empowered,
Okay.
Taking
take
the
that
leap.
leap of faith.
I would just say I would have expanded on like keep trucking and keep going, and then as far as I would say develop yourself as like a road scholar, like know what's good for you and your decisions afterwards, because everybody wants to bring you down after you make that leap of faith. I would say how to push past naysayers. That's what I would do, because that's a big thing in everybody's life. Everybody wants to bring you down, and there's a lot you can go on off that. Otherwise, I mean, I could.
So how to push past naysayers?
Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely.
Okay.
And also, if you out there, if you know of a good topic you want to hear on this show, let us know.
Email us at informationlive@gmail.com. That's informationlive@gmail.com.
Or go to our Facebook page, let us know.
Yeah, leave us a personal message, leave us a comment. And that's what next week's show is gonna be about. So I guess it's kind of up in the air right now. We'll think about it this week. I'm hoping we could push through some room with that public records request. But
Yes.
I mean that'll probably take.
know,
a
the-
You
while.
might have that about a year down the road.
Yeah, I mean that'll
Yeah.
probably be at next year's.
Coming soon
Yep.
to InformNation near you.
Yeah, so that's down the line and everything. But I thought today went great. I thought today went
I
great.
would certainly
It was an
hope
awesome
so.
show, yeah, definitely.
Thanks,
Our first interviewer,
Thank you.
our first caller.
Yep.
Wow, we
It
took
was a great
leaps of
day.
faith today.
Thank you.
And
Mr.
I wanted to say, if anyone wants to hear a little bit more about Matt Vine, actually there is a YouTube video with an interview on Matt Vine about taking his leap of faith.
Yeah.
It's on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/AlexG4691, and the video is called "Carve Your Own Path."
Yeah.
And it's pretty much about. I mean, we did that like 6 months ago.
At least.
We did that a long time ago. So check it out. But this is InformNation. This is your host Alex Gabriel
And your co-host David Sick.
and our special guest.
Matt Vine. Thanks, guys, for having me.
And
You're
wait,
welcome.
let's tell everyone where you can find you this week. This Saturday at.
1230 Davis Road in Woodstock.
There we go. Now this is InformNation. We'll be signing out right now. We'll be seeing you next Monday. So
And always remember,
keep it real, everybody. Peace out.